Welcome to Nanda Academies. This is Dr. S. Nandagopalan. In today's video, I am going to discuss about a very interesting web application which comes under the e-commerce category called as SN Backus web application. Now this application which we are going to develop will be based upon the MySQL, Python and the Anvil framework. Those who have not watched my introductory video on Anvil framework, please do watch that first, because that will give you an introduction with the basic concepts behind Anvil framework, how the client and the server actually get connected via the Anvil server. In case if you have already watched it, there is no problem now to understand how this application is going to be developed. So I'm going to explain now in simple steps how this entire application is built, where we concentrate more on the cart management, which is very important for any e-commerce application. So let us start the session with this introductory or the starting slide called as the database web application for online ordering of bakery products. So the products which we are going to consider here basically are the bakery products, cakes, cookies, bread, etc. I'm going to show you how this entire application can be built by developing some tables, in MySQL, and also the Python programming. And the client side, again, it's a Python and the Anvil framework. And also I'll demonstrate how this entire application works, and the cart, how the items are added and the total amount is calculated. So let us begin with the tools that are required in order to build this application. As already explained in the Anvil framework video, we require the database as usual, MySQL. So how to install that? You have the URL here. I'll just put this in the description box again. And the entire application, that means the .py file, Python files, and Anvil Anvil cloning of the project details also will be given in the description. Now as far as the Python files are concerned, you can get that downloaded from the GitHub. I'll also provide the URL for that. Apart from that, of course, Python installation and the Visual Studio Code, all these things, if you're already having that in your laptop or the desktop, it's fine, but otherwise you need to install them. So Anvil framework or the cloud-based entire setup is not required for any installation, but it is a browser based. Okay, now let me just have this home page, how it should look like. So it's just a starting point actually. You can just design the screen or the web page how it should look like in the initial stages, and then you can actually realize them in the Anvil framework because it's only a drag and drop. So it might look something like this, where I'll have some menu items like for the users, the home page, that they would like to have breads being purchased, cakes or cookies. Right now I've just added these products. It could be more products depending upon your requirement, and the pictures of these products could be shown here, and how it could be added. For example, you can select the quantity and the price is given here. Click on this add button, your cart, this will get incremented, and when you delete these products from the cart, it will get decremented as well. And when you click on here, you will get the cart details. What are the items or the products which have been added in the cart. So all these facilities can be made available here. It's It can be modified to suit your taste and requirements. And we have also login and logout. So this video also will explain how the built-in user management can be applied for this application using Anvil. Okay, now let me go on with the tables which we require in order to build this application. For instance, I think I'll just switch over to MySQL itself so that it is easier. Quickly, I'll put this way, like product is one table where we have the product ID is the primary key, and product main category name and the subcategory name. For example, under cookies, you may have many things. Breads, you may have sweet bread, you may have garlic bread, you may have brown bread, all that. Similarly, you may have cake, you may have birthday cake, anniversary cake. So each product has its own varieties under main category and the subcategory. So what is the cost of each of these? Then we have another table called customer table, where the email is the primary key and the mobile number and the delivery address, which we store here. And the cart, I'll come to this when we start building the application. So this is a table where we maintain the cart number and customer email. So, and the items in the cart. So it's exactly similar to the departmental store or any e-commerce kind of application, online or offline. So the same concept is used here. Especially you can make an analogy with the offline kind of purchases. For instance, when you enter into a mall or a departmental store, let's assume that you are going to purchase. You just pick a card. That means that a customer picks a card. Similarly here, when a customer is registered for this application, he or she will be given a cart number. So that's the kind of concept which we are going to use here. And the cart also contains so many items. So as and when the customer actually clicks on the add button with the required quantity, now this things have to be added into the cart. So I'll just show you the MySQL. So we have cart product. That means which are the products which are there in each cart. So I think we'll go to the latest MySQL. Yeah, so because I can just show you with some data also here. I've already created these tables. I will also share the SQL files so that you can directly create these in MySQL with the schema called SNBakers. So we have 4 tables as we already explained: the cart product, customer and the product. So I'm just showing here the customer table, and the content is currently I have 2 customers, in@gmail.com, sng@gmail.com, and you have the mobile number, delivery address. So I have not put anything for this. Doesn't matter because it could be null as well. So coming to product, so I have these many products, the product ID, main category. For example, under bread I have sweet, wheat, milk bread. Under cake I have black forest, birthday cake, all that. And cart, so cart I have cart number, customer, email. For example, you can see here that this customer, for example, sng@gmail.com, is assigned with 2 as the cart number. So as soon as when a customer logs in, or when a customer sign up, we can easily assign a cart forever. Even he may or she may re-log in again. So we should be able to retrieve what are the items which have already been put in the cart, similar to Amazon or Flipkart. Similarly, this customer gets the cart number as 4. So these numbers are generated automatically. That means the cart numbers are assigned, auto initialization in MySQL. So you can enable it. For example, cart, if you go to the structure, you will see that you can see AI is enabled. That means auto increment is enabled for this particular column called row ID. And that is cart product. Sorry, this is for cart. Yeah, so cart number auto increment is enabled so that you don't need to do anything in programming to fill up this cart number. So it is auto generation of the primary key. Okay, so we have seen the cart where we have the customer, when any customer signs up, he or she will be assigned a particular cart number which is generated automatically. Then we have the items, how many items are there, so that this could be displayed on the home page, so that every time when the customer adds an item, it will be incremented. Whenever it deletes, it will be decremented. So at any point of time, we can get the number of items. So that depends upon what products are put in the this table called product. That means each cart may hold many products. So that again has got a particular row ID which is auto incremented, because this is something like every transaction, right? That means every time when a user clicks on the add button, the product is going to be added into the cart. So which cart and which product, because parallelly or simultaneously we may have so many users using our website. So it all depends upon the customer associated with the cart number and each cart containing so many products. Exactly similar to the offline kind of the departmental store. So you just pick items from the rack and then you drop it into your cart. That means that is one transaction. That's exactly what happens with the cart product. Okay. So we need to add a record here as soon as that add button is done. Similarly, the quantity and the price is calculated simply by multiplying the price. Price is available in the product table. You can see here the price for or the cost for each product. So picking up that and you can multiply with the quantity and it's readily available, so that we can show at any point of time when the user clicks on the cart button, the products and the quantity, cost, everything will be displayed. And we'll also show the deletion if somebody, the user wants to delete that item, because that's possible. Like I put some items in my cart in the offline mode, I can just take it out because I don't like it anymore to be billed. So same approach has been followed here. So we have just 4 tables and we could manage this entire e-commerce. And here the products are bakery products, and you can use the same application for many other kind of, it could be watches, watch showroom for instance, or it could be like grocery, or it could be like fresh vegetables and fruits, or it could be any product for that matter. It doesn't matter, because as long as you have the product ID, cost, etc., and you have a cart and the user logs in and then picks these kinds of products and puts it into the basket or the cart, that's it. So that's exactly what we require. So here it happens to be the bakery product, that's it. So now let's move on to the Anvil to build the application. So I have here the opening form, that is home. Most of the things are done here, but you can modify it. So I'll just show you the design. So this is how it's done. So as usual, we select the appropriate form, design, theme, etc. And we have here the the cart details, offers. Then you have a number of items in each cart, that I'm going to demonstrate as well the multiple users, okay, so that you can appreciate that how we differentiate between each user and the number of items in each of their cart. Then you have contact us and log out, very simple kind of design not to make too much of complications in my application. And we also have a search button, so it has a limited functionality, and either you can press enter key or you can press this search button. On the left navigation, you have the home, bread, cake and cookies. So originally the idea was that when you want to purchase only breads, you can click on this, etc. But to make things simpler, I thought that this is good enough. So what we have here is each of these product with the quantity, amount, etc. and the add button. So that's where the entire thing happens. So when the user selects this drop down and clicks on this, this particular product based upon its ID, it gets added, and it's the cost and the calculation based on the number of items, number of products, the quantity rather. So this is how it is done. And similarly, I have just shown only for a few items here, like 1 2 3, sorry, 1 2, I think. Rest also we can just add in the similar way. Drop down, you can see here this one and this one. The rest I have not added drop down. It is understood that we can do in a similar way. Okay, so now we need to worry about what happens during opening of this form and what we should do when a user clicks on this add button. So these are the two functionalities which we need to provide. So let me just now switch on to the code part of it. So this is the before we talk about this, let me just quickly explain how the user management is done in Anvil. Actually, you don't need to develop any user management module using some password table, username, password, all that. But you can actually use the existing user management itself. For that, what you should do, just come to this part of the Anvil designer tool and go for the services. Under services you have users. Data table I have already explained. There's another video which talks about this. Please go through that. Users I have not explained earlier, so let me just click on this. So when you click on this, you will get ways by which you can actually initiate the user management or the user modules. That means you have a built-in module in Anvil which automatically gives you a window, small window, where the user can log in, sign up, either using email password which you have already registered, or using Facebook, using Microsoft Azure or Google, anything. So you have to click on appropriately so that these things are added in the opening form, there is login form. So right now I have just clicked on this, only the email and password kind of thing, so that if you have the genuine legitimate email, you can sign up and the verification will be done with the actual email. So don't give dummy email, it is actual. And other options are all available, and the details of your sign up process, that means users, will all be stored in this data table along with the email ID, whether it's enabled or not, when it was signed up, and the password is encrypted and stored here using the hashing method, etc, etc. So all these are automatically created by Anvil. You don't need to do anything, but you need to just take care of who has logged in. Let's say you want to display the name in the home page. So how to do that? You have a function here or a method, anvil.users.login with form. This you have to call, but how to extract the user? Get user. So you have a method called get user, using which you can extract the detail. I'll show you that in the code now. From the home page, yeah, so you can see here login with form. So if this is given in your home page, so this will be executed, you'll get a small window. I'll just show you that, so that just to get a feel of how does it look like, because I already logged in, it's coming. So I'll just log out and sign in again. Yeah, so this is the window for login. That is because of that method being called. Okay, so now I'll just stop it. So the window which you are getting there is because of this. So once you execute this, you will be able to get that window so that users can sign up, and once it's verified, you will have the login credentials available with you. Right, so this is for the rupees symbol. Then you can get the user details, who has logged in. So this is the key value pair again. So email is the from the data table. So get user is a method which gets you the user. So this is the user's customer email ID. Now I want to use this in other forms, or maybe within the complete application. So I want to store this in a global level. How do we store a variable in a global level? Put that in module 1. Okay, and say import module 1. So what you have to do, module 1, you can see here in module 1 customer email, you can just initialize to null, and once this is done, okay, now this _email is available throughout my application. Anytime you can get it because the user logs in here in the home page, and I need to access this email or other details elsewhere, so I can easily use that. So it is global level accessing. So it's a local variable email, so I can just give a welcome message. You can see that's the label 7 actually. This is label 7, so I can give a welcome message here along with the user login ID, for instance. So when I execute this and when I log in, so this is my email ID which is already registered. So I just enter my password. So you can see here the name of the person is Ayan. So hi Ayan automatically displayed because of this label 7 along with the details which have been. So I just remove whatever is there after at. I'll just take only the first string, that is before at. So this is a very important step. We need to assign a card to this particular user who has logged in for the first time, because he may log in many times. So every time we should not give the card being assigned. So a simple model, assuming there are only 2 users. So if the same user logs in, I just say pass, otherwise I will call this assign card. So this function assign card actually will assign for a user, that means this user, a card number, that's all. So there is a row created automatically by auto increment, and we'll be able to also get the number of items being so. Initially it is 0, so card count is another variable which I can just display it or use it everywhere. So assign card is a function which basically assigns a card number to this user. So how does it look like? I'll just go to my Visual Studio Code. This is the assign card. So the parameter is customer ID. So insert into card, which I already showed you. So this is my card. Okay, so card record has to be created. So I can just get my card number created, and it is inserted into the table called card. Only customer email and items. Items will be 0. You can see here 0. By default, initial number of items will be 0 count. And I don't do anything for the ID, card number, because it's auto generated. So I insert only 2 values, the name of the user and the number of items, it is also 0. So this is the initialization part. So assign card is a simple method which actually assigns a new card to the newly logged in user. Okay, and retrieve card number. Okay, this one, retrieve card number and total item, because I have to display it on the home page. What is the current data? I mean current count. Number of items. Suppose assume that the user has already selected some items, the number of items will be more. That means the count will be more. So, and also which user has logged in and what is the cart number of that user, because remember it is a web application. There could be many users who are logged in at the same time. In fact, there is another user who has logged in. You can see here SNG. I'll come to that later. So there could be n number of users. So for each user, this application should get the corresponding cart number. So get cart number is another method. You can see here. Given the customer ID, simply select, because you have assigned it. So getting that is not a big issue. So I can get that. So this is a simple query which gets in cart number for a particular customer ID. So I will know which cart number has been assigned to this user. So save that. So that is the cart number. Then number of items. So that also. So number of items, how to get it? Same thing. Get item count. I think that's the method. Yeah. Get item count. So select items from cart, because cart has got, this is the total number of items. So simply get the data for that particular cart. In this cart, how many items are there? So who has logged in their cart number? Using that cart number, get total count. So the number of items. So I can display that in my label 6, which is label 6 here. It is nothing but this one. This is the label 6. So there you will get number of items what the user has already selected. So this initialization process, let me just summarize this. User, if is signing up for the first time, assign a cart using assign cart function, and during that time just make sure that the initial number of items in the cart is 0, and then get the cart number of that particular user so that we can display that number of items in that particular cart at any point of time, because user may log out, log in again, and all that. So the rest of the things, links are all for the bread, home, all that. That's very simple. We just use open form. It will open that form when you click on that. So these are the triggers or the event handlers which will open the appropriate form which you have already designed. So I'll just show you this part of it, how it works. So now you can see here that the user who has logged in is Ayan, right? And since is entering again, it's not a new user, so it actually picks up the number of items, total number of items in the cart, which is 2. You can see here, Ayan, number of items is 2. And what are the items in the cart? You can just click on this. I'll come to that in the code. So when I click on this, I should actually retrieve what items are there in this particular cart. So everything is based upon the cart number, right? So we have made a link between the customer ID or the user login ID and the cart number and what products have been added into that cart. So with these details, it's very easy to show it. Okay, now suppose when the user clicks on this, as I already shown, so 5, and I say click add. Now 2 will become 3 or should become 3. Yeah, so this functionality now we have to implement. That means when a user selects the quantity and when clicks on add, so how to write the code for that? It's very simple, that you know which product, because each button now is associated with a particular product. So we know that this product, what is the cost, that is 60 rupees, is there in the product table, and I need to just add records in the cart product table along with the quantity and also the cost calculation. So that's what we are going to do it whenever the user clicks on the button. For example, what is the ID of this button? It is self link _9. I think yes, link 9 click. So that's the code for which we need to write. So the product ID for that is Black Forest cake, that is 201. Let me just see. 201, you can see here 201 is cake Black Forest 60 rupees. So for this 201, how to do it? So get the cart number for this particular customer, because any customer would have clicked on this, So first I should know who is logged in and what is that customer's cart number, which you also can put it as global. You can access from there. So I'm just, you don't need to call every time this function. Okay, now this is very important. Update cart. That means with the which customer and cart number and the quantity. So once if I have all this, I can just update the cart. So what is that update cart? It's given here. You can see that's nothing but add the record into the cart product along with the cart number, product ID, customer number, quantity, etc. So basically cart product is a table which holds all these things. That means every time when a user clicks on this add button, we need to create a record so that for this particular customer in this cart I can put this item. That's exactly similar to the offline mode of your selection of the products. That means you pick a product or item and then put it in the basket or in the cart. It's exactly what I'm doing here, that inserting a record. So I'll just show you that how it's, see currently in the cart product, cart product, I have these many rows. So let me just add a new record now. That means new transaction. Okay, so now the user is Ayan and let's assume the same thing. I'll just say 1. Okay, let me take 2 and add. Click on this add. So now it becomes 4. So let me show you. Yeah, you can see here 21. So sorry, not this one. Quantity, I think we have given 2. $260, that is 120. So this is the newly generated, that means quantity 2. Or any product. So I'll just say quantity. If we want to recheck, I'll make it 5. There is 1 because cart number 2 belongs to this. So we have only one record with cart number 2. So I'll add one more, so that 5 and add. So we should have now another 5. Cart number 2. No, I think cart number, one second, let me just check what is the cart number for this user. Sorry, Ayan, it is cart number 4, not 2, sorry. It is 4. So now going back, cart number 4, can see 5. That's what currently we have added. Okay, cart number 4, 1 we don't have quantity. So let us add once again and cross check. 1 and add. Cart number 4 with 1. Yeah, cart number 4 with 1. There's a new record which is added. So no problem. So it is working fine, that every time when the user clicks on this, it's going to add a new record in the cart product table with the product ID, etc. So all the details are available now. The same thing is true even for the other items. So if we develop for one, actually you can reuse the same function. You can also use it as a stored procedure in order to call that function, except that when you click on this, the product ID is important. Once you know the product ID, the cost, etc., everything can be retrieved from the product table. But here, to make things simpler, for demonstration purpose, I have given individual code in each of these buttons. But strictly speaking, when you design, you can make this as a single function and call this by sending appropriate parameters so that it becomes easier to do that. And search, I think I've just used a very brute force kind of method here, like bread b bre, now like that. If the string matches with the search string or the keyword which is entered by the user, then I'll just retrieve the appropriate page. So such kind of thing. It's a simple brute force method of searching. And logout, I think I'll show you. Logout is simple page, and again sign in again. So if you look at the code, sign in again is nothing but again opening form, so that it will initiate the login form. There is nothing like calling login form here. Whenever you have the function being called like this, which we have already shown, like login with form. So once this function is called in any form, it will automatically open the login window. Okay. Now what is logout? We have seen, right? So individual forms, like for bread, cake, you can display the figures or the pictures, and coloring can be done, etc, etc. So let me just show you now the two users and whether the cart remains same, etc. So this user is already logged in. I call this as Ian. The username is Ian, you can see here, and I have already logged in with another username called as SNG. So this user has got 7 in the cart, 7 items, here 6. So let me just go to the cart now. So it's a very simple function. When I click on this cart, I think that also can be seen now. Then demonstration. So what is that? We should simply display there's another form actually here, cart. So when you click on this, it will show the details. So this is a data grid where I have a number of rows. So there is a row template, etc. As I already explained in another video called as how to use data grid and row template in Anvil. So this is basically a matrix or a tabular kind of data structure where we can retrieve data from SQL tables and then just use one simple function in order to display the table data. Okay, so how does it, okay, what are the columns here? Name of the item, cost per unit, then the quantity, then the price, so multiplication this, and I also provided one more column called delete. So user may wish to delete an item which he has already selected before checkout, for billing, etc. Okay, so how does the code look like for this delete? Whenever the user clicks on this, I can get the product name, that means its ID, and then delete that in the cart product, that means taking out from the cart. So I'll just show you so first you have to double click on this, so you'll get the row template. Just look at the code, you can see here delete icon. So delete icon, when I click on that, what should happen? It should simply call this method called as remove row for that particular user ID and the email, whatever it is, because we need to remove appropriate row for that particular cart, in other words. So what is remove row? Delete. So remove row for this row ID, because row ID is important, and the customer ID. So delete from cart product where row ID is this, because that's why we have a row ID in the cart product table. That is, you can see here, cart product table, we have the row ID. So once you have the row ID, I can easily delete. So every time when you put a product into the cart, this row ID is generated. So automatically we will get this data very easily. Okay, so what happens next? It is removed and we have to update and show it on the thing. So just use open form again. Updated one will be shown. So now in this particular cart form, we need to display the data which is there in the cart product table. That is, show cart is a function which is to be written in order to display all the items in a particular cart. So I just send the cart number. You can see here is the cart number to the show cart. So what does the show cart do? Simply select all from the table called cart product. So show cart is here, cart number is here. Very simple query. So select all this: product, category name, main category, cost, quantity, all that for this particular cart number. This is an embedded SQL with a dynamic value being given as the cart number. Simply send it back. So this I already explained in my previous videos. Those who are watching for the first time this one, you need to go through the previous one so that you will know what are the syntax details of these return statements. It's a key value pair because Python returns this entire thing so that we can match it to our data grid in the Anvil. Because you can see here, whatever you have got from the show card, that means that return statement with the key value pair should be matched with this repeating panel items. Okay, and you should bind the variables whatever we have shown here with the data grid. For instance, here, okay, this one you can see, okay, sorry, this one, yeah, name. So when you click on this, you will see that item name. That item name should be same as here. You can see first one. What is the second one? Cost. You can see cost. So again, see in this cost. So these keys should match with the self.item. That means here. Then only the data, when you get it from the Python program, it will get displayed. Even if it's case sensitive, any small error, it will not get displayed. So it is quantity. So again, check here. It is QTY. Next one is price. Here price, you can check here, it's price. Next one is delete button. Anyway, that is immaterial here. Now what is label file? Row ID. So whenever the user, this is a dummy one, so I'll just use this for deletion purpose. So the row ID is sent to the function called remove row. So it will delete that particular row. So now we can demonstrate all this for both the users. So now this particular window shows you the user called Ian. You can see here. And this window shows the user SNG. So this has got 6 items. So I'll just go for the cart. So there are 6 items you can see here, and the total number of items and also the total cost, it's a billing kind of thing. So let me show you how it could be deleted now. So now it is 1110 rupees. Assume that I delete this one, 300. So 800 and dot should come. You can see 810. Okay, now number of items 5. So I can just go to home and see whether there are only 5 items. You can see now it's 5 only. Now I'll delete one more, 300. So it will be 510. It is 510, 4. Now go to home and check, it is 4. Right? Now I'll show you, it is 4 here, no change here. So I'll just add few things here. Let's say 3. Now it becomes 8. Oh, this is long back. I have logged in, so that's why. So I log in again with a different user called SNG. So 7. So I'll just add one more. It becomes 8 now. And what happens to this is 4 only, no change, because this user is different from that user and the cart is different and the items are different. So cart items, how many? 8 items are there, amount is 1275. Okay, so I can delete all. For example, delete this. You can say updated value and becomes 7 now. Okay, it is 7. So it's working now for all the users. Even if you have more users logged in, they will have their own cart, they'll have their own cart product, that means their items, and each user with the cart number, we will retrieve the data and then try to show it in the cart at any point of time, and they can delete if they don't want, etc. But the only thing is that you can add the functionality like checkout, billing, etc. Once you add that, now it becomes fully functional commercial web application. So I think the entire application now is working fine, and whatever the changes that are required can be incorporated with minimal coding here. And the beauty of this entire framework is that you don't require knowledge on HTML, CSS, etc. It's a drag and drop. And functionality wise, you need to know only Python. There is no JavaScript, there is no PHP, nothing is required. Python is all about, and you can run your Python code anywhere, not necessarily Visual Studio Code. You can have Jupyter or you can have PyCharm, any tool which you are familiar with and comfortable. Only thing is that you should run your Anvil server. So we have two statements here. Once you call this, it will, as long as working, server is working, this will not have any problem in getting connected and getting everything works on cloud. Remember that it works on cloud, it's a real thing. So the application name here I've given snbakers.anvil.app. So that's the name of the application, and that's it from my end. And please subscribe to my channel if you have not done so earlier, and click on the bell icon as well in order to get notifications for the newly released videos. And for any comments, you are welcome, and doubts also. So I need to emphasize again that you can download the Python code, the app, you have to clone it, and also the SQL program. So all that you need to do is simply go through the README file. Remember, the SQL files you can download from the GitHub repository, and so the entire application is on your hand, and modifications you can do it yourself if required. Thanks for watching, and we will meet again with some other application, again maybe through Anvil or other tools.